This is my random thought 005. Voting third party. All you have to do is say that, and people will say, hey, you're voting for Trump. Or people will say, hey, you're voting for Hillary Clinton. Instead of them respecting your choice as a voter to vote for the person that you think is more in line with your beliefs, what you believe, and what you want for the country. Because it's not about what I want. It's not about what everyone else wants. It's about what's best for the country. Now, the two-party system has given us Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump as our candidates of the two main parties. That outcome of the primaries makes it very, very important that everybody who feels they want to should vote third party. Now follow me on this. If you are voting for Hillary Clinton because you are afraid of Donald Trump, then you have that right. And I'm not going to tell you how to cast your vote, but that doesn't make you smart. That doesn't mean you played the system. That means that the system played you. There are a lot of people out there being played by the system. Let me give you a little background. I am an independent voter. I have been an independent voter for decades. I have always voted for the candidate that was more in line with my beliefs and what I want for the country. That is not going to change just because Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton is running. The candidates who are running does not change or should not change the way you vote. Voting out of fear and voting for who you don't want so that you don't get someone you don't want more makes no sense to me. I am an independent voter. And as an independent voter, every election cycle, not just every 4 years, but every election cycle, as an independent voter, I look at all of the candidates who are available. I look at which candidates I am more in line with, and that is the candidate that I vote for. I have done that year in, year out, election cycle in, election cycle out, and that's not going to change, even with the two worst candidates we've ever had running. I look at all the news, I consume all the resources that are available, and now with the internet there's just so much more. So you can see how mainstream media is slanted. You can see how independent media is slanted. And you talk to friends, you talk to neighbors, you talk to people you know, and then you make a choice. Well, everyone is saying that you should vote for Hillary Clinton because you don't want Donald Trump. Well, that's not the way I think. It's not the way I'm going to vote. When this whole election cycle started in the primary, no one took Donald Trump seriously. I did. When he got the nomination, there were still people who did not take him seriously, or they thought that he would pivot. I never thought that way. So a mistake on your part does not mean that I have to change what I do. I think both of the primary parties have made a mistake. So that doesn't mean I change what I do. What I do is still going to be what I do. So let's look at this logically and look at the facts. Depending on what state you live in, how you vote is not going to have any kind of impact on the final outcome of the election. That's just the fact, because you're one person. So in your state, if your state is leaning Hillary Clinton's way, Hillary Clinton's going to get your vote. If your state is leaning Donald Trump's way, Donald Trump is going to get your vote. There's no two ways around that. You know, people like to say demonize polling. Well, let's look at the last time they demonized polling in 2012. What happened? You know, so now there's so many more polls out there and so many more people messing around with it. But there are some that are reliable, and you have to ferret out the ones that you think are reliable for you, as I have and as many people do. And then you have to make a choice. Depending on what state you live in, yes, you can very well vote third party. And yes, you can make an impact on the election, because if both of the third parties, the Libertarian Party and the Green Party, get 5%, then that means they are legitimate parties who can get federal matching funds, and they can then give us what we need, which is something other than just two main parties deciding the course of our nation. I'm tired of that. I think it's time for it to change. And I think now is the time for it to change, because you have people's attention. All you need is to get their intention and have them vote with their heart, not with their fear. Voting out of fear only gets you more things to fear. I refuse to do that. This is the year that we can change the two-party duopoly, and we can give ourselves as Americans more choices, and we can take back our democracy, because right now we do not have one. Do a little research. We do not have a democracy. We have an oligarchy. We have a country run by corporations and run by the 1%, people with money. Well, it's time for that to change. And this year, with the boogeyman of Donald Trump, it's time for that to change. And you know what? If the worst happens and Donald Trump is elected, it is not the fault of the voters. It is not. It is the fault of the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, the Republican National Committee, and the Democratic National Committee. They're all to blame. They set up this house of cards, and when it starts falling out of panic, they use fear and propaganda, and they push people down the wrong path. They push people down the path of what they want, and the path of what I want is not Hillary Clinton, and it's not Donald Trump. And I think that if Hillary Clinton wins, it is not good for America. And if Donald Trump wins, it is not good for America. And calling me an idiot, and calling me stupid, and saying I don't know what I'm doing, and saying I'm a traitor, and all the name calling. Wow. There was a time when you could really talk logically and reasonably and pull people over to your side of thinking, but that's gone out the window. Out of panic and out of fear, people are cursing. People are calling you names. People are well, guess what? That doesn't work. You know, that just doesn't work. I'm not a person that gives in to intimidation. As a matter of fact, intimidation, name calling, cursing convinces me more that I'm doing the right thing. Not that I'm wrong. Your anger, your name calling, telling me I'm an idiot, telling me I don't know what I'm doing, telling me, oh, I haven't looked at it, telling me, oh, you need to put that aside, you need to do this, you need to do that. Well, guess what? All of that convinces me that I'm going the right way. And on November 9th, when we have Hillary Clinton, on November 9th, when we have Donald Trump, whoever gets elected, guess what? We get what we deserve if we voted out of fear. If everyone voted with their conscience, we'll also get what we deserve. And the thing that I've discovered is when you vote based on your conscience, and when you vote based on what's in your best interest, not what's against your best interest, we always get the best results. And this year, it's challenging to do that, but this year, it's what needs to happen. People need to go with their conscience and vote for who they believe is the best choice. And if the best choice is not Hillary Clinton, and if the best choice is not Donald Trump, then you need to look at the two third parties and cast that vote, because that's what America is all about. That's what we should be about. That's what we tell other countries to be about. We scream and yell it from the rooftops, and we demagogue and push and prod and tell them this is what you should do, this is what you should do. And then we turn around and do it to our own citizens and say, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. Well, guess what we should do? We should be Americans, and we should vote how we feel is best for ourselves and best for the country. Sure, we don't put ourselves above country, but it is never good to have a country that should be working for you work against you, and then for you to work against your own self by not voting the way you feel that you should. And that's my random thought 005. Thank you.